Hey guys, I'm tuning in from my office space. It's just behind me. As you can see, this is my working table. You can see the lamp and the table. It has been 2 weeks actually that I didn't post any video on my YouTube channel, and I feel so bad about it. I must be more regular. I know this, but the load of the work is too much. There's one more thing that actually happened. I'm so sorry about it. I lost my microphone. I cannot find it. Maybe by the time I record the next video, I will surely I will try and think of something. Maybe I'll just buy a new one, right? But nonetheless, today's subject has come to my mind not all of a sudden, but there was a series of articles dedicated to the power and the strength and the quantity of the Indian diaspora worldwide, and not only in the more famous countries like the United States, Australia, and the UK, where we know that there is a lot of Indian origin people residing there, but many other countries like the island nation of Mauritius, for example, or Saudi Arabia, or United Arab Emirates. So that's the beauty of the Indian diaspora. It is spread out not in one or two or three or four particular countries, but it is spread out all over the world arena. And the quantity, quoting one of the articles in The Economist, is around 18 million plus. But I have read statistics on this one, and I have seen that there are numbers like 20 million, 21 million, and so on. Is it only about the numbers when we say strength, when we say quantity? Is it only the numbers, or what's the qualitative aspect of this Indian diaspora, right? What are some of the points, according to me, through which the power of this diaspora can be utilized for the benefit of our home country, which is India? Because I represent the Indian diaspora. I'm an Indian origin Russian, basically residing in Moscow, Russia. I was born here, I was raised here. My native language, it would be maybe shocking to some of you, although I speak Hindi at home, but my native language for me is Russian language, and I think in Russian, so it means a lot actually. In school we had English, so we had really good teachers of English language, and because of them I speak whatever English that I know, and I read whatever English that I read. So and I'm able to record these YouTube videos. Coming back to the point. Now, the article that I read in detail was in The Economist, right? And they were discussing the power of the Indian diaspora that was highlighted through the recent visits of the Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi to Australia and the United States. All these Indian origin people, they came up to see their prime minister, and obviously the Western leaders of these countries, they, tried to make maximum usage of this opportunity and to address not just the Indian diaspora that was present in those events, but India in general. Because India geopolitically is becoming very important to them as a counterpart to China. As you might have heard, like the recent news is that the UK chain of cafes called Pret a Manger, if I'm not wrong, Pret in short, has opened 1 week ago in Delhi, and before that in April they opened a cafe in Mumbai. Tim Hortons or Tom Hortons, whatever that is, a Canadian cafe chain, has opened their first cafe in Mumbai. So a lot of Western companies coming to India. Apart from that, obviously, the Apple store that was opened recently by Tim Cook, or the fact that a lot of American and European companies want to set up manufacturing in India. Of course, China is looking at it, and I don't think that they're really looking at it as as something to be really worried about, because there's a lot of infrastructural progress that still needs to be a level of infrastructural progress that needs to be achieved by India before we can say with surety that we have overtaken China, because we have overtaken it in terms of population. I believe the United Nations data at least say so in the at April or May this year. But in terms of quality, there's a long way to go ahead. But looking at the work that is being conducted by the leaders of India at the moment, especially on the external affairs front, it's quite commendable. It is quality work, and even myself, I'm looking at the way India is being perceived not only in Russia, but in countries like Germany, in other European countries where I have, I have friends, partners, and so on. In Asia also, it is being perceived as a more as a more overall strategically or geopolitically active player in a lot of issues concerning the world today. It could be sustainable development, it could be the climate change, it could be a lot of other things, and India is very active on every front, which is, according to me, it is an achievement, and it must be kept in mind. Now, when it comes to the Indian diaspora, and according to my subjective opinion, how we can utilize the power of Indian diaspora, there are 3 points here that I would like to mention. Number one, it is bringing investment into India, because a lot of Indian diaspora representatives in the United States alone, more than 100 of them of Indian origin, they hold positions of authority and power, and many of them are really rich, and they could actually bring that much necessary foreign direct investment. Also keeping in mind that a lot of Indian origin people are CEOs of the big corporations, for example, S&P 500, 20 plus companies, they have Indian origin CEOs, which is quite a big number. The investments could be brought back to India through the Indian diaspora. Those investments can be once again utilized for what? Yes, you're right, for development of infrastructure, in which we are a little bit lagging behind China. But once we achieve that status of a infrastructurally progressive, technologically progressive nation that can compete with China, this would mean a lot overall for the image building of India. And now coming to point number 2, which is about building a sustainable, regular communication channel between the different diaspora representatives of Indian origin residing in different countries. That, in effect, could be used to solve a lot of issues, worldwide issues, geopolitical issues. We shouldn't underestimate the strength of, in terms of if we can build this communication channel, in terms of the problem-solving capacity of the Indian diaspora, keeping in mind that this diaspora is very, holds its culture very dear to itself. The family values are instilled from a very young age. The educational qualifications of a lot of majority of the Indian diaspora people are quite impressive, and all of this could be utilized, according to me, to, if there is a steady communication channel built between, for example, the Indian diaspora representatives in the United States, the Indian diaspora representatives in Europe, in Eurasia. This could be, in effect, a very great tool for conducting the external affairs of India in such a way so that it is beneficial to India. I hope you understand what I mean here. Coming to the third point, it's obviously soft power, because once again, as I said, we as a diaspora, Indian origin people are very much attached to their culture. You cannot take out India from any Indian, no matter where he was born, where he was raised. You just cannot do that. And when people interact with these Indians who are holding some kind of some kind of position in corporate sector or the government sector, these people are obviously also interacting with the Indian culture, right? So any Indian origin person is once again, he's a sort of like not a visiting card per se, but you can say that all Indian origin people residing, no matter where they are, they represent their country, first of all, and their culture. And it is popularization of Indian culture happening through the Indian diaspora. So this is the third aspect of it. This is how I see some of the points I see that can be, executed, and this could be really beneficial for India in general. Keeping in mind that India is becoming more and more active, as I said, in a lot of international issues, and the diaspora could be a really helpful instrument in the execution, in the proper execution of these, or realization of these plans that India has, in order to put itself on the pedestal of the great superpowers. Like recently I was watching this video by Patrick Bet David, I believe. He was comparing the metrics between India and China, and he was putting forward the point that maybe, just maybe, there is a chance that India could overtake China in particular aspects and be recognized in the coming future, maybe like in 5 or 10 years, as a superpower, which is quite possible if everything is done according to plan. So this is it for today's video. I hope you found it interesting. I obviously didn't prepare a lot. All the information was only in my head. I didn't prepare any script. Maybe I should do that, but the time is of such. There's so less time actually for a lot of things now, and like simultaneously we have projects from different sectors concerning international relations, obviously, especially the BRICS countries, as I said before in my previous video. It's the education sector, it's the healthcare sector, and we're working on a lot of different projects. So there's always a lack of time, and I'm really sorry for that. But I believe the next video will not take me 14 days. I hope it takes me like 5 maybe or 7 days, and I will post it. And let's stay in touch. If you like the content that I'm posting, do not hesitate to leave a like and maybe leave a comment with some suggestion. And obviously this channel right now has only 4 subscribers, and it's at least even for those 4 subscribers I have to put the content out. And everything big takes time. Rome wasn't built in a day. So I believe this channel will also develop into a platform where people can come together, discuss issues concerning the progress and development in the world, and we can come to this platform and have a friendly conversation without pulling down anyone's leg and so on. So this is how I see where my platform or this YouTube channel has to progress, and what kind of form it must assume in the maybe coming years. So thanks a lot for staying in touch, for being tuned in. See you again.